So Dependent Fanatic says Michigan has to be innovative on offense, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. One of the topics I thought about bringing up was the topic of is Michigan's offensive philosophy or strategy, is that discouraging five-star receivers from coming to Michigan? And the reason I say that is I took a look at stats and stuff from the previous year, and just talking about the receivers. I mean, the leading receiver last year was Cornelius Johnson, and he had like 620 yards receiving. And you look at other players, and granted, I mean this guy is a high level player, but the Bolitnikoff winner last year, I think his name's Addison, but the Pittsburgh receiver who's in the transfer portal. I mean, he had 1,500 yards, last season. Guy like Jamison Williams, John Mechie. I think both of those guys were over 1,200 yards last year. Ohio State, I think, had three guys over 1,000 yards or pretty darn close to it. It's just one of those things where it may be something that is hindering them. I'm not quite sure. I think that number one, you've got to get the quarterback to run an offense like that, and I think they do with JJ. Now, navigating that is going to be something in and of itself, but I think they have the quarterback now. So ideally, you'd like to start to get some of those, high level receivers, because I think it's that's the next step when you're talking about getting to the next level, right? We talked about that a week or two ago about what does Michigan have to do to get to the Georgia and Alabama level. And I think step one is getting that big time recruit, that five-star guy. And I think they've gotten that in JJ. The next step is going to be getting those pieces around him. I think you've got some of them. You've got Blake Corum, you got Donovan Edwards, you got some guys who are explosive. Ronnie Bell, if he comes back from that injury and is what we expect him to be, you've got some weapons there. But I think you need more when you come to, because you've got Ronnie Bell's your guy who's going to be probably your slot receiver, but when you talk about the outside guys, the guys who, Cornelius Johnson, those positions, you got to be able to get deep and just have the explosive receivers. And you look at Ohio State, just had two of those guys go in the draft. Smith and Jigba is going to be another one who's coming pretty soon. I mean, that dude's pretty special, but it'll be important to now take that next step in that progression to get to that elite status. 'Cause I think that's what Michigan is trying to do, is get to that elite status. So the next step, I believe, will be getting some of those really special kids on the outside to really be able to change that offense. But like I said, you've got to have the quarterback to be able to get the ball to him, and I think they have that now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I agree, Dependent Fanatic, and thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I don't know if I would call it a fluke. I don't think. I think it would. I would call it a fluke if that Ohio State game looked different. But yeah, maybe an awakening. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Um, Otis John Jr., thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the comment. Said they all wanted to beat Michigan last year. And I agree. I don't think you're wrong in that, but I think there is a difference from being another team on the schedule versus being the team on the schedule. Like the team that everybody is looking at, knowing that this game's going to be on, prime time, or, whatever the case may be, that major slot. And I know we're going to be on national TV. Like that makes a difference. That makes a difference. Or at least I think it does make a difference. But, I think, yes, I think everybody wanted to beat Michigan, and because Michigan has that certain cachet. They're one of the blue bloods, all-time winningest program, Heisman Trophy winners, Jim Harbaugh. You've got just so many things that bring a certain amount of cachet, and now you team on top of that, defending Big Ten champions, college football playoff final. We made it, to the Final Four. Like that changes things. So I while I agree that yes, everybody wanted to beat Michigan, I think this year it's gonna be on steroids a little bit. So we will see.